Hey guys, Andrew Henderson, nomadcapitalist.com in Tbilisi, Georgia. Wanted to update you on yet another second residency program that looks like it's going to become more expensive in the near future. Now, not that long ago, I wrote an article on nomadcapitalist.com. I talked about being on a flight where I went back through an old spreadsheet that I had tucked away from 2012 when I was doing some research on residency programs. And I think that there were more than a dozen, if I recall correctly, programs that had either become substantially more expensive or in many cases just went away, no longer existed. Ireland, Czech Republic, Hong Kong, Singapore, all of these countries no longer need people to come in. I recently did a video on how Hungary in the European Union is canceling its immigrant investor program, so that will reduce the number of options for second residency in the EU. But was talking to some folks, talking to some contacts of mine recently, and nothing is final yet, so something could always change, but it appears that in the near future, Malaysia is going to be increasing the necessary investment to become a resident under its MM2H program. Now, Malaysia is an interesting place because it is a territorial tax country. MM2H is somewhat of a retirement visa, and this is a program that allows you to live full-time in a country that I think is one of the hidden gems. It's one of the developed places that is still pretty darn easy to get into, and it's certainly no Singapore, but when you compare it to a lot of other countries, it's a very livable place, especially for many of our readers and viewers who like the idea of living in Asia. It's far cheaper than Thailand as an investment. It's uncomparably cheaper than Singapore, and now Hong Kong no longer has a resident program for investors. So it's one of the only games in town. And the requirement has been simply to demonstrate that you have about 100,000 and change net worth, and that you make about $2,500 a month in income. And then to take 300,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is about $67,000, $68,000 right now, and put that in a bank account. Okay, so $67,000, $68,000 in a bank account. You leave it there as long as you want to live in the country, and you get a 10-year pass. So pretty simple. Not a lot of hoops to jump through. The process has a lot of steps, but it's not particularly draconian. Those requirements are likely to go up. And what I'm hearing is they're just basically going to double everything. So you're going to need 1 million ringgit net worth, almost $250,000. And more importantly, you're going to need to, in all likelihood, deposit 600,000 ringgit, which right now is about 135 grand. Now, the one downside for some folks of the Malaysian MM2H program is that that $135,000 is not in dollars, it's not in pounds, it's not in euros, it's not in the currency of wherever you're holding now. It is in ringgit. And so I do think that the ringgit will do all right. We did a separate video on a property that I'm buying in Malaysia, just more for my own personal use. But, do you want $135,000 in ringgit? Yeah, if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 million bucks, yeah, not a big issue, right? If you have $500,000 or $1 million bucks, or especially if you're like the folks I work with, entrepreneurs who are trying to reinvest as much as they can, extra 68 grand in the bank that you can't touch ever until you decide to leave and give up the residency, that makes it a little bit less intriguing. Still pretty reasonably priced in my opinion, but it goes to show that all of these programs, both residency and passport, are becoming more expensive. Every once in a while, man bites dog, as we saw in Cyprus recently. Did a video from there earlier this year where we talked about how they lowered the requirements. Did another video on how St. Lucia lowered the requirements for their economic citizenship. But in terms of high quality, on the grid, off the radar, second residency programs where you can go and live and be left alone, the requirements are getting more and more strict. And so if you're looking for a more developed country to live in, all these requirements have been going up. Singapore used to be really easy. Now it's very expensive. The English language countries that people often ask me about, extremely expensive. Malaysia really, I think, offers a lot of the benefits of the developed world, the benefits of being in Asia, the benefits of a place that speaks English, and up until now it's been incredibly well priced in my opinion. The only challenge really with Malaysia has been for non-Americans for whom it doesn't really necessarily serve as a tax residency. So if you're trying to leave and establish tax residence somewhere else, it was often not the best for that, but it was a good second residency where you actually go and live. The bottom line is all these programs going up in price, getting more difficult, getting more expensive, higher requirements. You have more and more people around the world, more wealthy Chinese, Russians, Arabs, and others who are looking for their own safe haven, especially now in the light of what's happening in the Middle East. A lot of people looking for a place to go. Malaysia is very friendly to these people, and I think that they're realizing, hey, Thailand's requirement is a lot higher than ours, let's raise the price. So if you're looking for help with Malaysia, you can always check out nomadcapitalist.com. We have a lot of resources and can possibly help. But definitely it's just, whether you're looking at Malaysia or not, a reminder that all of these programs, by and large, are going to go up in price, they're going to go up in requirements, and eventually they're going to shut down. One of my buddies who knows some people in Malaysia thinks within the nenext 10 years, MM2H will be gone. So definitely something where I tell people, if you know what you want to do, if you want to go and live somewhere, if you want to establish residence, the time is now. Don't delay, because the programs are eventually all going to go up in price, in my opinion. Now, if you want to find out more about second passports and residencies, of course, there's our website, nomadcapitalist.com, and subscribe to our channel to get all the latest insights and videos right here on YouTube as well.